The case today is another case that I haven't heard of, and it seems like it's been going on since at least January of this year. It feels like it's only been featured more in the news as of March. I apologize in advance that this is going to be a little bit longer of a video, but I feel it's important to go through the timeline as authorities have presented it. And the case that I'm referring to is that of missing 2-year-old Oaklee Mae Snow. A major event in Oakley's story prior to her disappearance occurred on November 7th, 2022. On that day, the District Court of Oaklee County, Oklahoma, files an arrest warrant for Roan Waters on charges of child abuse. Waters is Oakley's mother, Madison Marshall's boyfriend. Police allege that Waters struck Oakley in the face, causing trauma to both her mouth and lips. But after that incident, no more reports are filed until January 19th, 2023. On that day, Oakley's father, Zachary Snow, calls the Seminole County Sheriff's Office to report that Oakley and her 7-month-old brother, Coleton, have been taken from his house in Cromwell, Oklahoma. Snow went on to report that Marshall and Waters took the children without his authorization and fled, and that he believed they went to Indianapolis, where Waters had family. Immediately after the abduction is reported, the sheriff's office enters Oakley and Coleton into the National Crime Information Center database as missing, but does not update their status to an Amber Alert status. At some point during the end of January, beginning of February, Waters, Marshall, and the children arrive in Indianapolis on Waters' mother's doorstep. Waters' mother agrees to let them stay at her house and even buys supplies for the children to assist in their care. While staying at his mother's house, Waters' sister comes over for a visit. She notices bruises on Oakley's legs and confronts Waters and Marshall. This only serves to enrage them, and they kick her out of the house. On February 9th, Waters' mother receives a phone call from a man only known as Chad. He states that Marshall and Waters had left Coleton with him and was wondering if she could come pick him up. Waters' mother calls his sister to come and care for Coleton. His sister eventually gets a hold of him and demands to know why they left the 7-month-old Coleton in what is later described as a trap house with a random man named Chad. Waters confesses that Oakley allegedly hurt her head while bouncing a ball, and the couple rushed her to an emergency room, leaving Coleton behind. The couple returns, and Waters' sister ignores them, but she recalls not seeing Oakley with them at the time. According to the sister, she called DHS on Waters and Marshall for leaving Coleton alone in the trap house. On March 3rd, Greenwood Village Police in Colorado arrest Waters on an outstanding warrant after responding to complaints about occupants at a Best Western. According to authorities, Marshall was staying at the hotel at the time, but she was not there when they had arrested Waters. They also noted that there was no signs that Oakley or Coleton had been there. Waters confessed that he and Marshall traveled to the trap house in Indianapolis to use drugs. He also confessed that they abandoned Coleton at the house before leaving for Colorado. But when he was asked about Oakley, he was either unable or unwilling to tell authorities her location. However, while in custody, Waters confessed to his mother that he had helped Marshall drop Oakley off at some location, but did not go into specific details. On that same day, Marshall showed up at Waters' sister's house asking if she could stay. Waters' sister said that she could, but only if she told her the location of Oakley. Marshall then stormed away and left on foot. On March 6th, authorities reach out to the FBI office in Indianapolis requesting help locating Oakley, Coleton, and Marshall. They were able to confirm that Coleton was placed with DCS and safely returned to his father. On March 7th, authorities serve a search warrant for the trap house, but it is unknown if anything was found during the search. The next day, Indianapolis police post an alert asking for any information that could lead to the location of Oakley. They also stated that she could still be in the Indianapolis area. Witnesses would come forward and state that on the night Oakley had her alleged medical emergency, that they had seen Waters and Marshall leaving the house with what appeared to be a child wrapped up in a blanket. The child did not appear to be talking, crying, or moving at the time. On March 16th, an arrest warrant is issued for Marshall in Marion County, Indiana, on charges of neglect of a dependent. Marshall was eventually located in Harnett County in North Carolina after the sheriff's office received an anonymous tip. Marshall and Waters are still in custody, and Oakley's whereabouts remain unknown at this time. Oakley is 2 years old and stands at approximately 2 feet 2 inches. She has blue eyes and blonde hair and weighs approximately 35 pounds. It is unknown what she was wearing at the time of her disappearance. If you have any information about Oakley's whereabouts or think you have seen her, please contact the Seminole County Sheriff's Office. Their number is 405-257-5445. Again, that's 405-257-5445.